time for us to take you through the continent's biggest stories, not in politics, but this time it's what's trending on the web. And we have Elizabeth Musa to do that for us. Good morning, Liz. You look like the sunshine on a Thursday morning.
Thank you so much, Olive. Good morning to you. And good morning to you, Osalge. You guys both look lovely as well. I mean, I think we're also bringing in the colors to this studio today.
Very true. I hear that there have been some unfortunate deaths as a result of cheating and car racing. Talk to us about that.
Very correct. An unfortunate incident indeed has occurred in Kenya as an unfaithful husband chasing his cheating spouse or cheating wife was involved in a car accident that got 3 people injured at Mamangina near Mombasa Golf Course in the country. It was gathered that the incident, which happened on Tuesday, 29th of November 2022, when the husband, who was also incidentally driving with his girlfriend in his car at the time, spotted his wife kissing another man suspected to be her boyfriend and decided to give them a hot chase. Yes. Now, this husband, who was chasing his wife at a very high speed, lost control of his car in his anger and crashed into Mkokoteni, known as a cart in English language. Now, the alleged boyfriend is suspected to be a retired safari rally driver, and both the wife and boyfriend escaped the accident. Of course, that's the unfortunate incident coming out of Kenya this morning. But we'll take a look at some of the comments and the reactions on social media. That one is from Diamond Drip, where it says, but why do men get upset when women do the same thing they have been doing? I don't encourage cheating on your partner, but why? More reactions to this story. That one is from Dwayne. Dwayne says, dude can't stand what he's serving out. That's how Dwayne feels about this. That one is from Bold, Beautiful, and Opinionated. It says, so married couples still they do fast and furious on top cheating matter. The husband will be sued to court and most likely jailed for causing a serious accident and bodily injury to others. More reactions to this story. That one's from Ambassador Philemon. It says, had it been the accident didn't happen, she would still deny cheating on him. That's gender. Wow, wow. More reactions to this story on social media. Well, that's the story coming out of Kenya this morning. It's quite unfortunate, but it's good to see that at least there were no deaths. It's just some injuries that people survived in Kenya. But we'll move on now to Nigeria, where the Federal Executive Council on Wednesday approved a new national language policy to make mother tongue a compulsory medium of instruction from primary 1 to 6. The Minister of Education, Adamu, made this known while briefing State House correspondents shortly after this week's Federal Executive Council meeting chaired by the President of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, at the Aso Rock Villa, Abuja. Adamu further revealed that mother tongue would be used exclusively for the first 6 years of education, after which it will be combined with English language from junior secondary school 1. He went on to add that the most dominant language spoken by the host community would determine the mother tongue to be used in each school. This means that here in Lagos, Nigeria, Yoruba language will be the compulsory language. Now, the truth of this matter is that many Nigerian languages are on the brink of extinction, and there's need to preserve these cultures and their peculiar idiosyncrasies. But do you think that this is a great move from the federal government of Nigeria? I'll ask you that question, but before then, I'll go straight to the comment section to see what the comments are looking like. That one's from Miss Baby. It says, nice one. I could remember paying a fine in secondary school that year for speaking Igbo vernacular. It was highly prohibited, and this made us see people with their mother tongues as local. This disparity will stop, period. That one is from Damilare 1. Damilare says, very good development. This is the reason why countries like China keep progressing in science. Studies suggest that students learn and understand major subjects faster in their mother tongue. Well, that's from Damilare. That one's from Melania Spark. Melania says, how would this work, though? In a country where there are so many mother tongues and tribes, this implementation is only successful in countries where the language being used is not as many. That's from Melania. Indomitable_Aisha says, this isn't a welcome development. How can an Igbo child, for example, be forced to learn in Yoruba if such a child lives in the West? Won't it cause identity crisis? Instead, everyone should learn his or her own mother tongue. This law would force languages on others. It's best to mandate every school to teach the languages, but not as a means of instruction. That's from Indomitable Aisha. Anabe says, wouldn't this further divide the North from the South, the East from the West? I don't even understand. There's a reason why English is the national language for Nigeria, because that's the only way an Hausa man can communicate with an Igbo man and vice versa. Not only that, will all the students' books be written in the mother tongue, in quotes, too? To me, this is not a step in the right direction, not at all. That one is from Anna. But that's the story. That's the latest story trending on social media, especially in Nigeria. You know, we've been talking about mother tongue for a while now. The other day we saw Afsa Abdullahi, which really, which put out a amazing piece, an amazing poetry piece, talking about how the English speaker should also respect her for a language. And now this is happening, and it's also it's telling me something here that at the end of the day, it's looking like we are getting to embrace our mother tongue. It's not going to look like when you're speaking a certain language, you're looking like lesser than the other person. Now, what do you make of this development, Osage and Olive?
I agree with some of the people that you shared their responses. I personally don't think it's such a brilliant idea. Mostly because, well, like one person there said, are you going to put the books in local languages also? And then second, for students, for a person who is from, for example, the South, going to school in Benue State, do you have a teacher who's going to teach him Urobo in Benue State? Or is he going to be forced to learn the language in Benue, in Kogi, or in the North? So it just doesn't add up. And then you're then very likely going to say, okay, well, they're going to be teaching in Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo, which then discriminates against those who are Ijo or Urobo or Bini or, you know, and some of all of that. There are people in the North and their languages are not Hausa or Fulani. So listen, I feel that Nigerian government every now and then just likes to excite the news, you know, and do something, you know, that they feel would create conversations, but it's very unnecessary.
My take on that would be, I can totally see the points that Osage has raised. However, I think it's important that we teach our children our mother tongue.
At home?
No.
I feel local languages should be taught at home. And
no,
it's important.
I think they should be taught at home and they should be taught in schools. And I'd give you examples. When we were growing up, I learned how to write certain things in Yoruba because I learned them in class. I learned how to say ABDAFEGBHI. I learned how to say the alphabet in Yoruba language because I took the Yoruba language as a subject. I feel that children should be given the opportunity, or students should be given the opportunity to take at least one language, one Nigerian language, and get teachers. Why am I saying this? I understand the need to learn French, Mandarin, German, because in the global sense, these languages would help you connect and compete on a global scale. But if we do not teach our children our languages, we would find them going into extinction. A lot of us grew up in generations where our parents thought it was very fancy to speak English. And whilst it's interesting to speak English, it's also important to speak your mother tongue. A lot of us can't speak it well and should be very embarrassed about it.
Once again, fair enough and fair argument, but that is once again pushing back the Yoruba, Hausa, and Igbo. That's the only thing that will be taught. And I learned Yoruba in school, in primary school. I learned a little bit of Igbo also in the school that I went to, in my primary school. I also learned the the thing you just mentioned, I can't remember.
ABD,
exactly.
You obviously didn't learn it.
But no, I did. I remember, you know, from way back then. Of course, at some point, you're going to have to drop those languages and, you know, pick geography or pick some other thing. But here's my question. Who's going to teach me Bini? Well, you're also going to send me back home to learn Bini, and then Nigeria has 520 languages. Are you aware of that?
Over 500 languages.
At the end of the day, would you then say it's better for us not to teach any language because we don't want to offend certain languages that may not be the majority? Even though we have several languages, even in other countries, they have several languages, but they have like the key languages, they have the official languages. It's not in any way, you know, I mean, we can't appease every taste bud, but we can't then just say we're totally throwing away languages because we don't want to teach 520 languages.
Well, teach me my own language also. If I'm going to go to school in Benue State, I want to learn my own language in Benue State. I don't want to have to learn, you know.
If you want to learn your own language, then you go and school in your state.
It's going to get a bit
now
complicated.
That's the discrimination I'm talking about. Because then you've made my own language a minority. You've made it unimportant.
Maybe we should ask our audience, what do you think about this argument? Let us know on Twitter at News Central TV. Do you think that the government should really ensure that languages, the mother tongue, is being taught in school? Taught in school.
All right, we need to go. Thanks a lot, Liz.
We need to go, yeah, right.
My pleasure, guys.
All right.